As a Christian who follows Jesus, one may argue that vaccines are unnecessary due to their faith in divine healing and protection. This perspective is rooted in the belief that God is the ultimate healer and that faith in him is sufficient to overcome any illness or disease. Many Christians who hold this viewpoint to biblical passages such as Psalm 103:3, which states that God heals all your diseases, and Exodus 15:26, which says that God is the Lord who heals you. They argue that if God is the ultimate healer, then vaccines are unnecessary and may even be seen as a lack of faith in God's power to heal. Furthermore, some Christians may view vaccines as a form of worldly wisdom that contradicts their faith in God's sovereignty. They may believe that by relying on vaccines, they are putting their trust in human ingenuity and technology rather than in God's providence. This perspective is rooted in the idea that God is in control of all things, including our health and well-being, and that we should trust in him alone for protection and healing. As the Apostle Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 1:9, we were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, in our hearts we felt the sentence of death, but this happened that we might not rely on ourselves but on God, who raises the dead. Another argument against vaccines from a Christian perspective is that they may contain ingredients that are morally objectionable, such as aborted fetal tissue or animal products. Some Christians may believe that by accepting vaccines that contain these ingredients, they are complicit in the destruction of human life or the exploitation of animals. This concern is rooted in the biblical principle of respecting the sanctity of human life and treating all living creatures with dignity and respect. As the Bible teaches, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own, you were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. In addition, some Christians may argue that vaccines are not effective in preventing diseases and that the risks associated with vaccination outweigh the benefits. They may point to studies that suggest that vaccines can cause serious side effects such as autism, autoimmune disorders, and even death. While these claims are not supported by the overwhelming majority of scientific evidence, there may still be a concern for some Christians who are skeptical of the medical establishment and the pharmaceutical industry. However, it is essential to note that the vast majority of Christian denominations and health organizations do not support the idea that vaccines are unnecessary for Christians. In fact, many Christian organizations, such as the Christian Medical Association, strongly recommend vaccination as a way to protect not only individual health but also the health of the community. They argue that vaccines are a gift from God, made possible through human ingenuity and scientific research, and that they are a way to demonstrate love and care for our neighbors, particularly those who are most vulnerable to disease, such as the elderly, young children, and people with compromised immune systems. Ultimately, the decision to vaccinate or not is a complex issue that requires careful consideration of biblical principles, scientific evidence, and personal conscience. While some Christians may believe that vaccines are unnecessary due to their faith in divine healing and protection, others may see vaccines as a way to demonstrate faith in action by taking care of their bodies and protecting the health of their communities. As the Bible teaches, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. By considering the biblical principles of love, care, and stewardship, Christians can make informed decisions about vaccination that align with their faith and values.